She was on her own as she came round the corner, looking at her phone. "Could you tell me where this address is, please?" he asked, putting on a phony accent. She looked at the paper, and as she did, his colleague, who'd followed, came up close behind her and emptied the hypodermic, full of a drug to knock her out, into her. Her legs started to buckle, and her eyes flickered shut, and as she collapsed into his arms, a woman came past and stopped. "Is she okay?" she asked. Just what we do not want, he thought, irritated, a nosy Parker. "I keep telling her not to drink so much. It's becoming a problem." He put on the phony accent again and breathed a sigh of relief as she accepted this explanation and went on her way, shaking her head. He put his arm round the girl, pulling her close to make it look as if she was walking, albeit in a very unsteady fashion, while his colleague followed on, carrying her handbag and shopping. They'd been careful to check where the cameras were situated before they picked her up, and by the time they reached their van, which had been parked behind her car, she was well under the influence of the drug. There were no other people around, so they got her into the back of the van without any further problems. They both got in, closed the doors and settled her on the mattress in the back, making sure she couldn't move about with the movement of the van. Before they left the car park, the driver sent a text message to the clients telling them that they were on the way and approximately the time of delivery. The driver's colleague sat in the back with her, and for quite a bit of the journey managed to contain his impatience. He kept looking longingly at her. "Wouldn't mind a piece of this," he said, and giving up to his curiosity, pulled her bra and blouse up, afterwards unzipping her jeans and pushing them and her underwear down round her hips, making a sound of obvious appreciation when she was fully revealed. Swearing loudly, the driver realised what his colleague intended. "How many times have I got to tell you, keep your fucking hands off? You will get your chance if they reject her, but if there's anything wrong, we won't get paid. You won't get paid." By this time, the driver had pulled to the side of the road. He got out and dragged his colleague unceremoniously out of the van. He landed hard with a yelp of pain, hastily zipping his pants up in frustration. "I can't trust you with her, so get in the front where I can keep an eye on you." He got into the back and took a good look. Yes, she certainly was good to look at. Not the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. That had to be his wife. But beautiful all the same. She had a stunning body, very tempting. The girls were talking weddings, he remembered. One of their friends, but also this girl as well. He'd heard them enthusing about a wedding dress she tried on while they were out. How beautiful it was, how gorgeous she would look. He looked at her finger and saw the engagement ring. Some poor guy was going to be mourning the loss of his future wife tonight when she didn't arrive home. And he thought back to when they were watching her, and one man was a frequent visitor. It looked as if he'd been moving in. He thought how he would feel if this happened to his wife. He would be devastated. Was he feeling guilty and going soft? He pulled himself together. This was no time to be feeling queasy about the job he did. He kept what he did for a living from his wife. She would be very angry with him if she did know. As far as she was concerned, he was a delivery driver who was away quite a lot. He could not afford to lose the money. Their first baby was due soon, making more expense. He needed the money now more than ever. He had to finish the job. He was getting too involved as it was. He told himself to pull himself together and get her delivered. He made sure her clothes were back where they should be and got back in the driving seat. The rest of the journey was carried out in sulky silence. After a long drive, they stopped at a pair of impressive electric gates, a sign outside saying, "The Newford Priory Club." The driver pressed a button on the unit at the gate, and when it was answered, said, "Delivery for the club." The gates opened and they drove through. When the van reached the large building at the end of the long drive, they drove past, round to the back, and pulled up where a group of people stood waiting for them. They gently took her out and onto a stretcher they had ready.